obviously you want to host a playoff game. That's what everybody wants. And there is a way to do it. But that's not the beginning. That's the end of this video. In the beginning of this, we're going to talk about how the Browns got the exact news that they needed. And the one it is that they essentially are going to have a bye week next week. And I'm going to explain how that's true. Before I do that, with this channel, Sports Talk Extra, as you know, we have another one, Sports Talk Detroit. But in this channel, we've really settled in on the Browns. We just feel a kinship here with the Browns. We understand what you've gone through as Lions fans. We're Erie brothers, and we just get it. So we love reporting on the Browns. That's just the way it goes. So that's what we're going to continue doing. And here's what happened. Before the Ravens win earlier in the day, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, which very credible source, like this is good, reported that with a Ravens win, Cleveland would likely rest starters against the Bengals. This makes a ton of sense, especially when you think of how many injured players are on Cleveland's roster. So let me ask you this question. How many weeks in a row have people been on the injury report and still played for the Cleveland Browns? In case you're forgetting, I'll give you some. How many weeks has Bitonio been on there? How many weeks has Jaron Christian been on there? Amari Cooper, Joe Flacco's been on there for the last 3 or 4 weeks, even though he's been practicing. Jerome Ford with 100 different injuries. Marquise Brown all year, right? Kareem Hunt all year. David Njoku the last couple months. Like Pochich, Teller, all these guys. Denzel Ward, has been there. Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith. These aren't random backups. These are starters all over the field. I would have given you an even more updated one, but that comes out tomorrow. It is yet to come out yet. And they were coming off the long week. So here's the thing. They played Thursday, as you know. So not only are they going to get almost like a half built-in bye week, which they already get when you play on a Thursday, it's tough on that short week. It's really hard, and I understand that. But then you get a week and a half for the next game. And that next game now, they don't need to play it because they're already determined where they're going to be. But by the way, the Lions are in the same position. We're almost locked into the 3. Not quite, though, because if a couple teams lose, we could still get the 2. But you are pretty much locked in the 3. So here's the next part of what I want to talk about on this video. And that is, there is absolutely a chance you're locked in at the 5 seed. There is absolutely a chance that you can host a playoff game still. So Baltimore, they are the 1 seed. You can't catch them. The worst they can finish is 13-4. They'll probably rest their starters and still win. They are just unbelievable right now. So here's what can happen. And because after the first round of the playoffs, the NFL is not like other leagues. And I'm not sure every league does this, but the NFL reseeds. They want to ensure that their best teams, their highest seeds or lowest, depending on how you want to view it, they want to ensure that those highest and lowest seeds continue to play the most favorable matchup. So Baltimore will play the worst seed remaining. So if Buffalo or Indy, if the playoffs started today, there are absolutely other teams, Houston, Pittsburgh, that are in the mix. And that's it. Everybody else has been eliminated. For that final spot, it's Indy, Houston, Pittsburgh. Those are the 3 teams. So if Indy or Buffalo were to beat Kansas City or Miami, which, by the way, it looks not only likely, but you have a team that's red hot in Buffalo and a team that's ice cold in Kansas City. You have a team that's been playing well in Indy, and whoever gets in, whether it's Indy, Houston, or Pittsburgh, a team that'll have multiple wins in a row against a team that is reeling in Miami. So if either one of these teams win, you get to avoid going to Baltimore in the second round. All right? Because I'm telling you right now, if you get a second round game in your or if you get a second round game against the Dolphins, they're beatable. The Chiefs, they're beatable. All right? If you can beat Jacksonville, who also is beatable, you know that. But there is a way for you to get a home game. So if the 7 and 6 both beat Miami and Kansas City as it stands now. I mean, this could all change. Miami could lose to Buffalo. Buffalo could jump to the 2, or they can move to the 3, Kansas City to the 2. Like, there are so many things that can happen in this. But if these two teams, the 6 and the 7, beat the 2 and the 3, you will host a playoff game if you beat Jacksonville at the 4. And that might not be Jacksonville. That could be Indy. That could be Houston. Like, there's a lot of different ways that this can play out. So when you see a title like this one, right, where you're talking about how things just got easier for the Cleveland Browns, it's because you had a Thursday game, so you had an extra 4 days to recover, and you're essentially getting a bye week. So you should be really healthy. The only player, I mean, you're not getting back to Deshaun Watson. We understand that. You're not getting back Nick Chubb. Okay, but would you rather have Deshaun Watson for this playoff run or Joe Flacco? Answer that question for me in the comments. Would you rather have Deshaun Watson or Joe Flacco? The Nick Chubb thing, I don't need to ask. I know you'd rather have Chubb than Ford. But I'm going to tell you right now, in the offseason, we're going to be talking about how much money do you want to pay Chubb to come back, or are you going to get out of that contract? And we're going to get into some of the cap numbers and things like that because you are cap strapped as Browns. I did a deep dive this week into the Browns roster, and you guys are cap strapped with the guys you have right now on the roster. There's going to have to be some moving and grooving because 2025 is looking rough, but salary caps don't exist in the NFL, right? Like, that's what we keep hearing. Also, there might be a new TV deal, so I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm starting to nerd out. Now you're getting to see what you're going to have to deal with in the offseason with me as I nerd out on caps and free agents and how you can find guys that would be the 53rd man or the 54th man on other rosters, but they can be the 36th on yours, and like just having fun with it. And I think you have a group that is set up for success right now. I really do. So I think this team can have success in that. But I did want to just talk about this a little bit. Like, you get to rest the starters. Are you happy about that? With all the injuries you've had, you have to be like, yes, please rest the starters. Whereas with me, the Lions are really pretty healthy right now. So I'm wondering, like, do we want to rest the starters and get a little rusty? Or do we want to play the starters? And I don't know. Like, injuries are huge. One injury to the wrong person can derail a season. However, with the Cleveland Browns, apparently no amount of injuries to any amount of players can derail a season. So imagine how good you'll be when healthy. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.